What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BuiBros Football Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Quinn Bowie, and I cheer for the LA Chargers. Across from me, my brother Brandon.
And I cheer for the Minnesota Vikings right here. Excuse me. Today on our episode, we will be going over the last couple weeks, talking about what we have been slowly digesting in the offseason here. We have now passed the draft. We've had a few moves being made, and we'll be going over the last couple weeks here in the NFL offseason. Maybe
Absolutely.
later on in the video, sorry, Quinn. Later on in the video, we might be getting to some Mount Rushmore quarterback and wide receivers for the NFC, the AFC. We'll kind of be merging our lists together, seeing how that works as well. So, exciting stuff.
Absolutely. It's been a crazy past few weeks for us. Been on a little bit of hiatus as I'm moving. I'm coming closer to you.
Heck yeah,
It's
you
gonna
are.
be great.
Yeah.
Sunday football's with the family. Nothing better. Very excited to do so. And it's coming up soon.
Yeah, that's why we took a little bit of time off here, is because you were here. You were looking for houses. We actually got to watch the draft together, which was super fun. A
Super
lot
cool.
of surprises in the draft, to say the least.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, on that, let's jump right into it, right?
Definitely. I'll start just with the Vikings. If we're good, then we can kind of
yes.
move on from there. Vikings, they did exactly what I always wanted. And they traded up. You know, they didn't trade up too much. They traded up one spot from 11 to 10, which was just exciting. We traded up for a quarterback. Doesn't matter how far. What we offered, it doesn't really matter. If he's our guy, then it was worth it. So the Vikings traded up to pick 10 to draft J.J. McCarthy, who ended up being the fifth quarterback taken somehow.
Wild. Yes.
We can go over that after. So J.J. McCarthy taken 10th overall. Super exciting. It's coming. It's happening. You know, if he's the guy, this is very, very exciting. There have been, obviously a lot of quarterbacks in the first round that don't pan out. We're hoping that this guy does. And if he does, it's just what a great feeling it'll be. Something that you are familiar with the stability that the Chargers have at the quarterback position. So
absolutely. Hey,
this is huge.
This gives you a reason to as well believe in Harbaugh. Trust in Harbaugh.
Exactly. That guy he's a prophet. He knew.
There you go.
He knew that J.J. McCarthy was the best quarterback of this draft. And we
just
got
another connection between the Chargers and Vikings.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, well, we can talk about him a little bit more in a second, but just to finish the recap of at least the first round for the Vikings, it was trade up from, what do we have, 23, 20, 21?
Yeah, 23.
Something? And traded up to 17 to draft Dallas Turner, which a lot of people had as their number one defensive player on certain people's draft boards, and I think he fell to be the third defensive player taken. But it doesn't matter if he's the best defensive player of this draft. We got him at 17 somehow. That doesn't make any sense. So
right, and he was supposed to. I mean, a lot of mocks not supposed to, and we talked about this briefly. Is that he was potentially going at 8 over there to Atlanta?
Exactly.
And those are the guys. They took the fourth quarterback on the board in Michael Penix Jr.
Oh, so strange. Like, very, very strange.
Very strange. And with the rumor mill turning about how Kirk and that played a part in his decision to leave the Vikings because they were looking to draft a quarterback high up. And he goes to Atlanta, gets a sweet deal.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet deal, absolutely. Can't be mad about that. But then they go ahead and draft even higher than the Vikings would have and took a quarterback.
Makes absolutely no sense. I've been reading.
But yes, exciting.
Yeah, no, it is exciting. Dallas Turner, the Falcons obviously don't draft him. We draft him at number 17. this guy's a beast. And he seems actually like a really, really nice guy. You know, now that he's a part of the Vikings, you see, well, at least I
Right.
see a lot more media coverage on him. I see a lot more interviews. I see a lot more highlights that are just posted in the subreddit. I get to see a lot more of him now. It's because it's not like I watch all that much college football. You know, I don't follow along too much to know these guys too
Hmm.
well, like I do as if they played in the NFL. And so it's really cool to see the stuff that he's doing. A lot of comparisons, a lot of measurables or measurements, and everything that they do. The testing has him compared to Von Miller, which is
Hey.
just if
No,
he's
no, for sure.
anything like Von Miller, then that's amazing, right? Von Miller's a
Huge
first ballot Hall of
success.
Famer, like
And
so.
to have the longevity
Ooh,
in his career like
hmm
Von Miller, I think that's something
yeah.
that would be exciting to look forward to. Yeah, killer first round for the Vikings. You know, like there were a lot of people thinking that they'd be the one of the teams to trade up even further
hmm
than 10. And we were under the belief of that happening as well.
Yeah.
Maybe a trade between the Vikings and Chargers that never came to fruition, and who knows?
Yeah.
Was it because of Jim Harbaugh's vendetta against the Vikings for not hiring him a couple of years ago?
Maybe.
Yeah, there are the
But
rumors again, swirling around.
all of these talks were like, ooh, the Vikings look like they're going to trade at least, you know, obviously their first round from this year and then two future ones. So three total to receive one to draft JJ McCarthy. You know, that's what a lot of the rumors were. And then it turns out that we had to trade 0 first round picks and we got to draft JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner. It's
Yep.
pretty incredible. Like, I know that we traded away some picks, but
Hey,
the
the cost of doing business, right?
and the cost of like people were excited to draft JJ McCarthy high up with trading away multiple first round picks. They were excited for that. So the Vikings didn't have to do that. And so that's like a major win, right?
100%. Yeah, yeah.
We didn't
It
have
was
to
like you
do
double dipped there.
yeah, we didn't have to spend what people were happy to spend. You know, we get to get him for a fraction of the cost. And then also we get to get Dallas Turner as well. It's just, the first round, I think, went as well as it could have. Um, you know, then we didn't have, just to finish the recap here, we didn't have a second or third round pick. Round 4, we choose Kyrie Jackson, cornerback out of Oregon. Corner is a position in need for us. We have not drafted well in the corner position recently. So that's a big one. I should say, just in general, in the defensive back room, it has not gone great last couple of years. No fifth round pick, round 6. We got Walter Ruse, an offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. Don't know too much about that guy, but the more depth that you have on the offensive line is great. You know, guys get hurt, and it's nice to have people to come in to replace him. So if they like him, then I like him. Round 6 again, pick 203. We pick a kicker. Will Reichard, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, what happened to Greg the Leg?
Greg the Leg's a bum who went to the Green Bay Packers. I believe he went to the Green Bay Packers because they
Ooh.
don't like their bum in whatever Carlson, the shitty Carlson brother. I don't remember
Right,
the guy's
right. The
first
other
name.
Carlson.
Yeah, exactly. But the first Carlson had to get cut by the Vikings to reinvent his kicking method, and then he became a great kicker for the Raiders. So maybe his brother, this is what he needed, was to get cut and reinvent his style. Anyways, I don't care about
Sure.
that guy. He was packing. He was a Packer, sorry. Round 7, pick 230. Michael Juergens, center. Again, nice to have extra depth. And then 2 picks later, we draft Levi Drake Rodriguez, a defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. So, good.
Good. So
Good.
overall, I mean, like, what were the draft grades that you saw
The,
out there? Like, where were you?
you see as
You
low
feeling
as
pretty
like
good?
D's, but then you see as high as like A minus, A, and you're like, okay, well,
That's
like you see those big charts of all the guys and like every single every single publisher like all their rankings for all the teams, and it's this big chart, and it's all color coded, so you can see that they got shit, like they're shittier, they're shittier, they're shittier, and like ours is like, oh, it's green, 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 red, green, 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 red, 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 green, green, and it's like, Jesus, like this is such wildly differing opinions.
Right. It just goes to show that nobody knows what they're talking about when these drafts come out, draft grades.
Yeah, and all
You,
those
you have an
publications.
idea based on the college production and the fit that they go to, but until the pads, the helmets, everything gets on, and you're out there on Sunday, we don't know, and we're not going to know
Yeah.
until September.
Definitely not. But it was funny to me because a lot of those publications are the ones that are saying, "Ooh, the Vikings might trade up. They might trade their next few first round picks for JJ McCarthy." And then we don't do that, and then they're not satisfied. Like we still
And
get
JJ,
the pick,
yeah.
and we didn't have to trade away our future, and they're not satisfied. It's just kind of one of those things that it doesn't matter. I don't really care about a draft grade
Hey,
because
maybe it was a top-heavy draft. Maybe that's what it was. You got two people who fell further than most draft analysts thought they would in the first round. You kept both of your first-round picks, and you got, the potential QB of the future. And if we trust in Harbaugh, which we do, he will be that guy, the best quarterback to come out of Michigan. Came out of the goat's mouth himself. Very exciting, and the potential rebuilds that both of our teams and hopefully will be expedited by this draft. And I mean, you guys have already got your regime in place, and Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi, they're doing a good job so far. Now you got the quarterback. You have the surrounding cast on offense. You're building that defense with Brian Flores.
yeah.
Exciting times ahead.
Yeah,
But to flip
yeah.
over, man. Flip over to the AFC and the LA Chargers. Whoa, what a draft. Like you mentioned, I was over at your place and we were watching the draft together, and the shiny new toy that everybody wanted, Malik Neighbors. It was funny. We had all fans, all analysts, or the majority of, at one point thought we even had a chance at Marvin Harrison Jr. Brock Bowers, who was it going to be? It ended up being Joe Alton. We were the first team to take an offensive tackle in the draft. And it's definitely some pushback from the fan base. A little bit of hesitation on my end, but then again, you have to remind yourself, in Harbaugh we trust.
Exactly.
And that's what we knew. They told us all along that he was going to build from the trenches, and it was going to be a mean, tough football team, and that's exactly what we did. And everybody thought, well, what are we going to do with the wide receiver position? We can't go into the season with Quentin Johnston and Joshua Palmer and Darius Davis, catching passes from Justin Herbert. Well, we then traded up in the second round to take wide receiver Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. And my goodness, already the comparisons, potential, top route runner coming out of college, and he's got that speed, I believe 4.39 40. So Justin Herbert hasn't had a wide receiver with that speed in a very long time. If ever, excuse me, not just a very long time, ever. And so that would be great. The route running, people are comparing him to a faster Keenan Allen. That's a lot of the comps that I saw going on there. And, we have to pump the brakes a little bit. I don't care that Keenan Allen is over with your rival Bears. It was upsetting that he left, but there is no ill will towards Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
And you got to earn your stripes if you're going to be compared to one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, let alone one of the best, if not the best wide receiver in Chargers football history. So very exciting to see Ladd McConkey come to the Chargers in round 2. Then we go in round 3. We take one of Harbaugh's old boys there at linebacker, Junior Colson. And there's a lot of excitement building for him. and what he's doing right now in rookie minicamp, where Harbaugh's talking. He's like, I won't go as far to say he's wearing any dot, but he's calling a lot of the plays out there, not only for the defense but other positions. He's there. He knows what the calls are, because he played in Jesse Minter's defense over in Michigan. He's got the familiarity and he's got that leadership demeanor, and he will be put in a position to lead early and often at the center of that defense. Him and Derwin James are going to do well together, working the back end, the middle, and of course that D line. And we'll get into some of the new additions that the draft and the last couple of weeks of free agency has really helped with building that unit. Then we continue on for the draft. We drafted in round 4 interior D-line, D-tackle Justin Eboigbe. And he's out of Alabama, and he's got that high motor. Last season was his season that really popped. But he's at that beginning, those beginning stages of that hockey stick curve where he's just about to take off. All he needs is that leadership and that mentorship. And you want to play on a D-line with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, Tuli Tuipulotu, and a new addition coming to the Charger out of free agency soon that we'll discuss. It's going to be mean. They really beefed up the trenches, both on the offensive and defensive line, and it's great. Then to continue on, the next 2 picks, a position of need was cornerback, just like you mentioned for the Vikings. And we double dipped. Tarheeb Still coming out of Maryland, and Cam Hart coming out of Notre Dame. Both of these guys, there was some discussion about the order in which both these were drafted. People thought Cam Hart was a higher priority, but in the end, they got both of them. And excited to see, these two potentially on the outside working with Asante Samuel Jr. And I'm really excited. The rave reviews about this defense right now and how smart Jesse Minter is as a DC and bringing that whole scheme out of Michigan, it's going to be great. Again, they had the top unit in college football last year, and that's very exciting stuff. Lean, mean, running the football, protecting Justin Herbert, good defense, the way you build championship football teams, and I'm very excited. Continuing on in round 6, out of Troy, we drafted a brute, Kimani Vidal, running back there at pick 181. That is fantastic. It's another bruiser back, and that's exactly what Harbaugh wants. Then we get to round 7, and we address the wide receiver room again with two potential gems here. Cornelius Johnson, I'll start with him, even though he was picked. He was the last pick the Chargers had, but he's got that familiarity, special teams, and in Harbaugh's offense. So that's very exciting to see. He knows the type of player that Harbaugh needs and wants on his team, and obviously he's going to be that guy if Harbaugh trusted to draft him. The other player, legacy player, and I forgot to mention, of course, Joe Alt with former stud tackle Joe Alt of the Kansas City Chiefs. I heard the draft call and say, "Hey, you think your dad's going to be able to put on the powder blue?" He said, "Absolutely. That's great. A former Chiefs player now supporting the Chargers. Bring it on. Fantastic." But another legacy player, the greatest wide receiver of all time in many people's books, his son in Brendan Rice out of USC, catching passes from Caleb Williams, one of his top targets out of there. And this is exciting. Harbaugh came out and said, they had a draft grade of, round 3, round 4 for Brendan Rice, and he fell to them in round 7. I think that's great value, and the community seems to agree with me as well. Let's go. Ladd McConkey, Brendan Rice, Cornelius Johnson joining that room and competing with Quentin Johnston, Joshua Palmer, Darius Davis, Simi Fehoko, And then now we get to free agency. Well, on top of that, DJ Chark do 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 DJ Chark do 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 do. We have another speedster there in DJ Chark, and maybe we can squeeze a little bit of production out of him again. Bring him back to his Jacksonville days. He has been productive. There have been a little bit of injury concerns with him, but get him out there and mean, run, tough, run, play action over the top. This is going to be fantastic. Very exciting, to start before the draft, this wide receiver room. There's a bit of hope. Now there's definitely some more hope, and a lot of variety in the games that each of these wide receivers bring to the table. Very, very exciting stuff. And then to continue on with free agency, we also signed Bud Dupree.
I saw that.
Edge rusher Bud Dupree, very exciting, very exciting. Started his career over in Pittsburgh, then went to the Tennessee Titans a few years ago on a monster deal. His career took a dip in production, and then resurgence last year in Atlanta. This is great. This is exactly the vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've been telling us all along. And they continue to build out the trenches, both on offense and defense. And we have gotten meaner. We have gotten tougher. We have gotten bigger. And the brand of Chargers football is changing here in 2024. And I'm ready. I'm excited for football season. Here we go.
Yeah, man. It's, I think I texted you the other day. Carly was saying she read something because we were watching. I don't know what the hell we were doing. And she was like, she read something saying, yeah, I could really watch one of those horrible Thursday night football games right now. And we were thinking about it. I don't know if it was, I don't think it was a Thursday night game, but the Chargers beating the Raiders 3-0 or 6-0 or whatever it was. It was something horrible. Just like the worst game you could ever imagine. We win it, and I felt gross. I felt so much worse than a lot of the losses.
The Vikings beating the Raiders.
Yeah. It sucked.
Right.
It was like, ugh, my team sucks, even though they won.
A win is a win.
So a win is a win. But so many losses that we had in this season, I was like, all right, that sucks, but, we played well, or we were in it, this, that, and whatever. But that game, ugh. And we were like reminiscing on that. Missing horrible football play just because it is football play.
Because it is football.
Oh,
and,
man.
we are a few months away, but between now and then, there's a lot of excitement to go on. I think the next is the post June 1st cutoff date for free agency. Big date for contracts and getting out of certain contracts. So this will be the next wave of free agency. Let's see who actually hits the market, because we have been told of teams' intentions on some of these releases post June 1st, but potentially some more surprises now the draft is complete, and some of the teams maybe filled out positions that they didn't think that they were going to be able to do so.
Well, even right now, like, I think it's the rookie mini camp at most. For most franchises or organizations right now. Soon after that, like, we'll get into the actual mini camp.
Training camp.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Then we get into
that'll be.
fantasy football season.
Oh, it's coming.
It's
guess
pretty
at
much
this
here.
point
I'm
now-
seeing a lot of mock drafts.
Yeah, we got to
going
start
on.
doing mocks and stuff starting pretty soon here.
Yeah.
I guess, damn. But yeah, like, there's the rookie camp stuff. Like, I've been seeing videos of JJ McCarthy throwing the ball around. I saw a not so flattering one, a throw of his. But it was probably the receiver's fault. You know what I mean? He just
It was probably 100%.
wasn't in the right spot. But it's fun to see all that kind of stuff now. See him out there moving around. He came out and he didn't say the classic, "Oh, the game is slowing down for me." He didn't say that yet. Maybe that'll come later, but It was like,
It's a nice slice of humble pie, you know.
yeah.
He's that guy. He's smart. He knows. He's not going to be like some of these recent quarterbacks. You know, it's pretty slow. This
Well,
game's pretty slow, and
yeah.
this is easy.
He came out
You know,
and said,
paraphrasing, but that's
yeah.
who.
That was Justin Fields. He said that a
Justin
few years
Fields.
ago. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. It was.
Do
and
you
that
mean
was
punt
shitty.
returner Justin Fields?
Oh my god.
I think,
what the hell is
or
that?
kick returner Justin Fields. Yeah, maybe.
I saw a thing because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, and someone was like, "What are you talking about? 20-some million for a punt returner? That's a steal." I was like, "Damn."
Maybe with these new rules.
Yeah. But yeah, so just seeing him throw the ball around, and then, yeah, what he said, he came out and said something along the lines of, you know, he wasn't nervous out there. He's just been eager to do this. He's been staring at the playbook, studying it for so long that it's like nice to go out there and actually practice it and attempt to execute. So just excited to see how he develops. And coach has come out and said that there is an actual milestone plan in place that he has to hit this mark, this mark, this mark, this mark before we're even considering him to start. It's not like,
Hey,
ooh,
fair.
Sam Darnold's not doing well, let's toss JJ McCarthy in there. It's like, no, he has to hit these milestones. He has to get to these certain points that we think are important in order for him to start or play, because that's what's needed for his development. And maybe that is before the season starts. Maybe it's halfway through. Maybe it's next year. You know?
I think that's the best thing to do is set expectations.
Yeah.
The system you guys run already is very complicated. You cannot ruin a quarterback, a rookie quarterback's confidence, and set expectations. They know it's a work in progress, and if you got the right guy, he's gonna be there doing exactly what he needs to and taking his time, understanding that it will come.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I agree with that, and I will say I agree with it, but I do think that he is going to play earlier because, again, he's a great quarterback. He plays the position the best out of any quarterback in this year's draft class, and very, very exciting on that part. And yeah, I see some of the training camp videos over the Chargers, and it's fun. It's building the excitement, and who knows what's going to come next. I can't wait. But Vikings, Chargers, post-draft, what do you all think? I think, there is room for optimism, room for more optimism, reason for optimism. 2024 season can't come soon enough.
Yeah, we're not the Falcons sitting here in doom and gloom territory, wondering what the hell the organization's doing. Everything, it feels hopeful. Your new regime,
We didn't hire Bill Belichick. We paid Kirk Cousins so much money, and then we used our 8th pick on Michael Penix Jr.?
Yeah, it's so weird. But it's
Weird,
funny
wild.
because Raheem Morris's speech early on, I think we talked about it on a previous episode. I was like, damn, that guy's sick. Like, that's going to be a sweet
That
place
guy's
there.
making me want to play for him.
And then they just blow up the draft with this stupid ass pick on Mike. Well,
Who knows?
objectively,
It could be, right?
but objectively, a shitty ass move in the current day. You can't sign a dude for 100 and whatever the frick million that he signed
80
for.
mil.
180 with 90 million guaranteed or something like that. You can't sign a dude to that and then pick 8th overall, a quarterback that was possibly like a second round quarterback. Obviously we don't know how the draft actually would have panned out, but that was a lot. There was up until like a week before the draft, there was a lot of people saying that Penix would go in the second round.
Yeah, let's get into this a little bit because Michael Penix Jr. is one of the older quarterbacks in the draft too.
Yeah, he's
right?
gonna be like 28 by the time he starts.
Yeah, his game doesn't even mirror Kirk's, and so do you want to learn the pocket passing style and ability that Kirk's got, and then also add in that element of the run game as well, and your scrambling ability. Okay, I could see that, and I can see them making an argument there. But the fact that, like you said, I'm sure maybe that's an exaggeration by the time he's 28. But let's say Kirk, he's in there for at least 2 years. So what is that? 20, he's 24 now, and then he's going to be 26 when he first starts a game.
Okay.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, the Green Bay Packers have sat their quarterbacks for a long time, and it's worked out. They drafted Jordan Love. I mean, that was picked, what, 20? What was 2021, 22?
Something, yeah.
Back in 2020. So not 8. Absolutely. It's just a
Yeah.
wild, wild pick. They could have built out the team to start winning now. 3 years down the line, if it doesn't work out, well, then you're probably picking up high enough to draft one of the quarterbacks. And who knows? Maybe that's Arch Manning. Maybe that's the Arch Manning year. Maybe it's one of these other big name prospects that they're just starting their college career.
So
who knows?
I'm looking here. Penix is 24. He just turned 24 a week ago.
Right.
So, okay. But if Kirk's there guaranteed for another 2 more years because of how that contract is structured. So he'll be 26 by the time he sees the field as a starter. If Kirk is gone after 2 years.
If Kirk is gone.
Old, dude. That's old.
Yep.
Like, that's
and you
too
have very
old.
little rapport building with your team. Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan, getting out there and actually playing. It's a weird investment. Who knows? Maybe they're smarter than all of us because they didn't hire the greatest coach, arguably the greatest coach to ever play or coach the game, and they also paid a straight ton of money to Kirk Cousins and then drafted a QB at 8. They're the smartest team ever.
Oh,
well,
insane.
That's it for the recap. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking your time today and listening with us. If you did enjoy us and you disagreed with what we said, please just let us know in the comments. We want to build a community. We want to talk with you. We want to talk football. That's what we want to do. Yeah. So if you like what you hear, make sure to help out the channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, the little notification bell, the little dangly bell there. Really does help the channel out.
It definitely does.
Thanks so much, everybody. And till next time.